everyone, we are the James group, Jahan, Anna, Murray, and Shri, and our design is called Kit and Go. While visiting Guatemala for a study abroad course last January, we shadowed local nurses during the regular visits around the community. We went on the tuk-tuk seen in figure 1, which is the mode of transportation for the nurses while doing the house visits. While at the first house, the nurses took out a big plastic box, as the one seen in figure 2, from the back of the tuk-tuk, which contained all the medical instruments needed for a medical examination. The box has everything in it: a stethoscope, a blood pressure cuff, a scale, and more. It worked, but the design could be better, so we knew that there was a need for something to make the medical examination more efficient. Likewise, we wanted to make sure that the instruments are cleaned and sanitized between patients, especially with the rise of infectious disease.
Before we move on, we want to address our user feedback first because it really changed the entire course of our project. We knew we wanted to definitely focus on global health with a design that would address easier access to medical equipment for medical personnel in low-resource communities. So our initial idea, as seen in figure 8, was a stethoscope with a thermometer and light attached to its neck. This was also detachable. During our interviews, however, even though the interviewees were open to the idea of the design, they mostly said, don't mess with the stethoscope because it can be a really sensitive device. So instead of receiving a total excited review, we received a lukewarm response. So our last interviewee was Casey Howard, and after discussing the design with her, she essentially made us come to terms with how we had come up with a solution and tried to force the need on it when the need never really existed. So this was a big reminder as to why the design process relies so heavily on user needs. So we brought ourselves back to step 1, and we've landed on Kit and Go.
Our final design concept of Kit and Go resulted from first outlining the user needs and then generating requirements based on those needs. The first requirement addresses the need for a method to sanitize medical instruments, which can be achieved with UV lights that emit a 220 to 280 nanometer wavelength. The UV light has to remain on for a period of 120 seconds. This ensures that the sanitization has been done properly, but it also speaks to the need for a process that is relatively fast and can be carried out between examinations. The third requirement is to include a hazard warning label. This aspect is to warn the users of potential hazards with UV lights if they aren't used appropriately. The last requirement proposes an improved way to store medical instruments for examinations that can take place outside of the clinic. The device is 16.5 by 12 by 6 inches so that it can hold all of the instruments needed while being compact. This size specification is based on a typical backpack that could easily be carried inside of a tuk-tuk. Moving on to our prototype of Kit and Go is displayed in figure 5. Essentially, it is an easily transportable disinfecting medical kit that has multiple components to house all of the needed medical instruments for a basic examination. Starting from the top, the lid has 4 UV lights that will be powered by a rechargeable power bank, so no power outlet is required. The 6 colorful boxes seen on the left and right sides inside of the kit can be used to hold things such as bandages, masks, gloves, and cotton balls. There will be bilingual labeling to ensure that every user can identify what is located where. The middle blue component will have 3 slots to hold a thermometer, light, and the tongue depressor. The stethoscope and blood pressure cuff can then be wrapped around this component. Finally, at the very bottom will be the weighing scale.
Following the description of the prototype, as Jahan was talking about, the most important component of the design was the UV light and the manner in which we were going to power this one. We decided to look for a UV disinfecting light that fulfilled the requirements and also needed as minimal power as possible to function. We found 2 watt UV lights that had to be connected to a USB port to function. Consequently, we went ahead and found a rechargeable power bank with multiple entries, and as seen in the design output schematics, this is how we decided to connect the lights to the power. Afterwards, 2 main concerns came into question. These were, how long would a full charge of power bank last, and how many light ones and what placement should these have to optimize disinfection? We did some calculations for the first concern and determined that a fully charged battery could support 38.4 hours of use, which will equal 1,152 disinfecting cycles. For the second question, we bought some imitation light ones and built a cardboard kit. We then place such lights at different places inside the box and run couple simulations as seen in figures 3 and 4. From such results, we concluded that in order for the disinfection to be maximized, 4 UV light ones located at the kit's upper component was the best option. Continuing then in the testing section, we have our verification matrix, which addresses the requirements. and the validation matrix, which refers back to which we address the user needs. We established protocols for each aspect, such as confirming the wavelength of the UV lights and ensuring that disinfection took place, as well as guaranteeing that all essential instruments fit inside the kit. We did this to confirm that our prototype was fully functional and met the necessary specifications.
Our next steps are to actually build, test, and implement the prototype. We think the Kit and Go can be useful in two main instances. First, for the nurses who do home visits in Guatemala so they can quickly sanitize between homes. And after we build and test, we are planning to send the kit to the nurses to try, gain feedback, and then improve the prototype.
Second, we can also implement it here in the States. After talking with medical students, they said that the Kit and Go would be really helpful for mobile clinics and street runs, which a lot of universities hold, where they examine many patients outside of a clinical space. This design got more exciting feedback and people said they would actually use it. So we are excited to take it further in Guatemala as well as here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.